So this is quite interesting. There are two reviews here, one positive and the other quite threatening. Easily one of the worst piles of trash I've ever played. This developer or kid just threw a whole bunch of random Unreal Marketplace assets together with no rhyme or reason, and has completely random animations going on. There is no point, no goal, no cohesion, and mainly no fun to be had with this cobbled together pile of asset trash. Even Digital Homicide would be ashamed to launch anything this damn bad. Yeah, I said it. And that's a link to their review. I only make it as far as the test level. To the kid or dev who cobbled this pile of trash together and is trying to sell it for $12.99 USD. You deserve to have the shit slapped out of you for this, and you know it too. And a said kid or developer simply responded with, no. And someone found that funny. Is it that bad though? And has the bar for Steam really sunk that low for people to get that mad? Well, I actually played the game, and after about 10 hours experiencing not only the bizarre nature of it all, but also some real drawbacks that should never have made it out of early access, I'm gonna unravel that answer for you to see if it really is that bad. Immediately, the game starts with a title screen quite literally calling for help in what is clearly a stressful situation. There are a lot of save slots, but in a nutshell, this game has 10 levels, including 3 big boss fights, plus 2 side quests, and each level or mission starts off with you driving off into the distance. Let's go. Hell yeah, man. Where you actually start the game is by being shaken out of a helicopter into the hub area known as base camp. There is no tutorial, you just begin at home, and of course I started shooting things to see if anything would break, but instead, somehow turned into a van. Zed. Did I throw a grenade? Oh, what the fuck am I doing? Well, that was the fastest out of bounds I've ever had. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I do have to give a genuine brain rot warning, as this game can be a little bit jumpy, a little bit flashy at times. I mean, even the recoil, just look at it. Not the best full screen experience, but anyway. I found it quite interesting that in my house, not only do I have medical equipment and a clean toilet, but I also have some free ammunition that is useful until you realize later there is a very simple exploit that makes all of this redundant. And speaking of exploits, when you walk out of this house just to the right, you can immediately go into the test level. Now, I didn't explore much the first time for risk of spoiling anything, but most things you pick up in here, you can just take back to base camp completely free. No way. No way, you could just get a free one. Alright, we're definitely doing this. This is going to be fun. Alright, now that you've seen it, I might as well explain the mini helicopter situation, and the one thing this game is alright at: combat. Mission 1 reveals a lot about this game, as at the beginning you unlock your first summon, Choki the Deer. Now, not only can summons help you in combat, but they also act as mounts. And that applies to all of them. All of them. Command. Yes! I have mounted my... I'm riding... You know, I'm piloting this man. As you explore the various levels, you'll find new ones to unlock and some for free. Additionally, you can just go into your inventory and buy them in the heat of combat, which is very helpful. What's also quite helpful is that it's possible to have multiple of them at the same time. And my god, is that a blessing when the horde thickens. But what's really interesting about summons is that humans allow you to avoid literally anything by going out of bounds. You can just turn around and dismount. It's as easy as that. I even used this in the second mission when I had to find a code to access this lift. I did try and find a code, but I gave up, and there you go, I was in the lift. I did also find some other things in mission 2. We'll see those later. But if we're going to talk about going out of bounds, then going out of bounds in base camp is something that was much easier than I initially thought. Basically, near the shop and the car that you use to get to missions, there's a barrier that you can't pass. And you may think that by summoning your summon and turning around and dismounting is the way to get over that, but you don't even need to do that. All you need to do is hop on their back and walk through it. But wait, it gets better. By doing this, the barrier just breaks. Because once you do this with a summon, you can just do it on foot. The barrier quite literally gave up because it couldn't be asked with my weaponized determination to break a game nobody needed to know about. Now, for those who are interested, the outbounds here didn't really contain too much besides some empty houses. But it turns out that you don't even need a woman to access this area. No, you just jump onto this building, jump onto the wall, and fall into the shop. Hey, look, there's another mini helicopter. It appears that ADHD assessment I forgot to submit might be the answer to the tangent we just went through, but the helicopter is a special weapon, and there are quite a few that you can pick from. This one in particular acts sort of like a summon, but isn't. It's very powerful, able to wreck a pig-controlled lion, and yes, you can shoot it down, or up, according to that deer. There's also the Rocket Fox, which allows you to launch rockets, and those things explode. And you'll probably burn yourself out with these in Mission 1, as at the end you need to fight a UFO by launching a bunch of the Fockets into the purple bit, resulting in a nuclear explosion. I hope I haven't messed up this. Oh, that was enough! It did it! My god, that's a big explosion. By far the coolest special weapon is the crow mine. It is quite literally a crow, and when placed, becomes quite literally a mine. It's the perfect answer to any horde. What more do I need to say? Crow mine. Quickscoping never felt the same till this game, because the SV10 allows old people like myself and others to reminisce about the MLG days with some nasty plays. The fact that you can just line up zombies and get insane collaterals it's just a nice attention to detail. There's also this fish on a stick, which I mean, it just spins and kills things. It's just quite effective. You only really see it till late game. And it's the only special weapon that you can't find in the store. But for those who simply want to get to the point, the shotgun 20 is a viable option. There's not really too much to say about it, it is just a shotgun, but one thing to note is that you cannot reload it. And the same goes for all special weapons. They are simply things that you pick up or buy and are not meant to be hoarded. But if we want to talk about reloading, then reloading your main weapons is kind of fun. As you can see, once I reload, I throw my gun and then bring out a new one. I don't know where I've seen this before, but I have seen it before and I know it's nothing new. However, what is pretty cool is that throwing guns does damage to enemies, so technically you can just shoot one round, throw, and repeat this until you run out of ammo. But what if you do run out of ammo? Well, no worries, because here's where the totally balanced shop comes into play. Now, the shop itself provides everything you need, from disposable items to previously mentioned special weapons and a small range of firearms. There's not too much to say about the different guns in this game, besides the fact that there are 5 to choose from, and each one has their own special or upgraded variant that is basically just the same gun, but with fixed attachments. All you really need to know is that the VAR-10S, the super variant to the original, looks the coolest, and that the SR-14S is basically useless when airstrikes are involved. You see, because disposable items in this game have absolutely no cap. Just to quickly go through them all, you've got useless flares, said airstrikes, ammo, and grenades. And just to clarify, you can have as many as you can afford. How on earth I managed to afford 5,003 airstrikes is one question, and the reason why I needed 5,003 is another for later when the ball starts to shit. But the exploit is quite literally just, if you have enough money to buy the thing once, then you can just keep spamming again and again to buy as many as you want. There's nothing else to it. It really is that simple. But do you really need all that ammo? Well, the short answer is you might as well. And the long answer is yes. And it's all because of this mission. That one as well. And that one right there. And that's not even counting the mini boss fights. Mission 1 has to be by far the longest, as it has you exploring a town with one simple goal: to find a way to Rabbit Labs to save a softcore furry that, spoilers, will become one of your love interests. That sentence on its own is either minus or plus points depending on the viewer. But considering the quality, surprisingly enough, you can explore buildings and each one has something worth the effort. From finding people spinning on their heads that you can collect for money, or just shoot if you want, you can shoot them, to finding donuts that heal you and a pig that didn't like me for some reason. I didn't want to do it, but you gave me no choice. And even fire that hurts. Trust me, in this line of business, That's an important thing. The main point here is that there is something to be gained. Exploration is rewarded, and that is very important. Although do be careful not to run into the items. God damn it, man. For the dev to make you stack it when running into things is plus points for how annoyingly funny it is. And man, it got me way too many times. She's struggling there. Damn it! As I progressed through this level and took on the horde, it didn't take too long for me to run out of ammo. But a solution to that problem quickly presented itself in the form of a small car with a gun. This was a really cool thing to find in the first level, and it's very good at clearing the way. Plus, it's a bit faster than running. But as if that wasn't cool enough, it got better. Alright, as if things just couldn't get better with the vehicles. You start with that and you can just move up to the... There's a fox in there. The tank on its own is pretty cool. The deer on top does shoot at things, and you can play around with it properly in the test level. You can't bring it back, however. I did try. But the one issue with its appearance in this mission is that there wasn't anything to shoot at till the end. Besides, like, one guy who I had to kill for a key, which, to be honest, was kind of fun. After killing this guy, I didn't immediately pick up the key. I just went into this house and there wasn't really too much to see. But when I did pick up the key, I found my way to the next section of this level, which led to a facility that, honestly, looks reliably weird. The goal inside this facility is to find a way to turn the power on because we need to go into this lift to get to the top floor. And that can be achieved via this laptop. That unfortunately only allows you to turn the power on, so I guess no Starcraft or Skyrim then. Anyway, this is the place where you find two of the best summons, Lin and Shinbi. Oh my god.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Oh god. Fortunately, when I first summoned Shinbi, she was nowhere to be seen. At first I thought this was an issue, but it turns out that she was just upstairs clearing the room. But these are both melee focused summons. They're tanky as hell and especially useful when fighting the lion upstairs, who drops a key to the actual boss fight. Fun fact about the lion, by the way, you can just kill it faster by shooting it in the pigs, which obviously sounds kind of weird to say out loud, but man, look, you clicked on the video. Anyway, this facility didn't have much else to it, so I went back to the tank. And with a key to the next area in hand, I could finally blow up some zombies. Now, unfortunately, the tank didn't last too long in the new area, and to be honest, I spoiled this bit with the whole UFO blowing up. But here is where you start to get a real taste for the horde. And that horde only intensifies from this point onwards. Quick, 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 quick. Oh god! Fair enough. Mission 2 in a nutshell is kind of brief, and I say that while being fully aware that I cheesed the first roadblock, which was the code-locked lift. Now, the whole point of us being here is to save the rabbit woman from a knight, and said knight is the boss at the end of the level. Not to skip ahead too much, but to be honest, it wasn't the best fight ever. You just kind of spam bullets, he does a bit of magic, and there you go. The real challenge were the enemies, or at least the amount of them. It's quite close quarters, so when you got a lot of them running at you, it's pretty difficult to deal with. However, you do have some special abilities that can help. For example, you can summon a shield to give you invincibility for a short period of time. If you're low on health, you can heal up to full. If you feel like grenades are taking too long to explode, then you can hit the instant explode button. It doesn't really have a name, but yeah, you throw grenades and they instantly explode. And if that wasn't enough, you can turn yourself into a van. Or sometimes, I don't really know how this is supposed to. Sometimes they just blow up, sometimes they turn into a van. I have no idea, man. There are also these other buttons, which I believe are summons, but they never really seemed to work for me. Until this one time where I summoned Lin and Shinbi just kind of stuck together in this Beyblade. It was pretty cool, but there wasn't really anything of significance in any of the rooms I explored on this level. It kind of sucks fighting to the end with not much of a reward at the end. However, with that being said, there is a room that reveals a bit more lore. As on this whiteboard, it basically tells us that there's this substance known as Tekka X, and it arrived here via a meteorite sent by the aliens. It's said to cure all diseases, but of course, turns people into zombies. I don't know why the zombies throw bananas, drive forklifts, or ride pigs, but Who cares, man? We're in the situation we're in. Anyway, after beating this level and saving the rabbit woman, I decided to come back to this because it really bothered me that I just couldn't find that code to the lift. I had no idea what the developer intended, but unfortunately I still couldn't figure it out or find that damn code. It drove me so insane that I genuinely thought that the dev intended for there to be an exploit with the summons, and with that in mind, I just went out of bounds again. It turns out I still didn't find the code, but I did find my truck. It was just parked out the front. Fun fact, this was from the intro cutscene. I also found a submarine floating in the void, the same one that's used in the cutscene where it launches rockets into the building when we escape. And here's another fun fact, you can find the rabbit woman floating mid-air. This is what I would like to call a lore-accurate Easter egg. And this was pretty much the last decent level before everything gets a bit lazy. Well, there you go. Game crashed. God damn it, man. Missions 3, 5, 6, 7, and 8 all have one thing in common. Timed survival. Mission 3 has you starting off on a road with a blockade in front and a lot of enemies about to break through. You have some time to get set up, but when the wave starts, it is constant. This is a little bit ridiculous. A little bit ridiculous, this one. At this point, I genuinely had no idea when it would end. There's no indication, and it turns out that I just had to survive for a set time of 10 minutes. Minus the fact that there is a store to buy ammo from, Mission 5 almost justifies this exploit. You see, because besides crashing once, it took about 17 minutes to complete this level. The context is that after meeting with UN officials, we're then dropped off at a launch site to refuel and launch a rocket containing Tekka X back at the aliens. But again, just like Mission 3, it was just a constant stream of enemies, and that was it. That's all it was. The best part about it as well is that the outro cutscene is quite literally just you watching the rocket slowly make its way to a stationary UFO, as if it couldn't just move to the side a little bit. But look, if the intent truly was just for me to fight a constant stream of enemies, then fine. But at least give me some kind of indicator to show how much I've progressed. If it quite literally is, wait for it to refill, then give me a timer. Anyway, Mission 6 was somehow worse in this regard, as things go from just survive to just survive but on rails, or boat in this case. Rabbit Woman, Chokey the Deer, and I are now making our way across the sea, but of course zombies can ride sea creatures, which complicates things. However, I do appreciate the ragdoll physics. The catch with this level is that you're not able to summon any summons. I mean, it probably wouldn't work if you did. You can use a helicopter for a bit, but you can only ever hold one. And if that wasn't stressful enough, then why not just add a giant squid into the mix? Why is it him? It just hit me with squid images. I feel like that should be illegal. On a slight tangent, it is a genius idea just to throw PNGs at the player whenever they get hit by something. I mean, one time I got hit by a shark and it just showed me this.
What are you talking about? Look at this. That's a shark. Look at the outline. Look at the mouth, the eyes.
Is that what it is? Sorry, I just don't see it.
Somehow, this squid broke the game by making me immortal, and thankfully I had enough money to wake up, because the only options you have here is either wake up or just go back to base camp. You don't actually restart the level, you just get taken back to the hub. Now, if 17 minutes with the spaceship wasn't enough, then 18 minutes on this level, just doing this non-stop, with no checkpoints, no shops to restock, genuinely makes me wonder what this would have been like if I didn't get lucky or use the ammo exploit. After eventually making it to shore, Chokey and the squid now get along for some reason. And interestingly enough, we now have this squid, or Kraken as it's called, as a summon. Thankfully, Mission 7 is more of a normal survival level, and by that I simply mean we can just walk around. Of course, it's still chaotic. There are now knights riding animals. There's a lot going on here, but the Kraken makes this a lot easier to deal with. Not only is its slam attack powerful, but it also has a lot of health. Although once it's gone, of course, you're in trouble. So many! Dev, what's your problem, man? There's just fish being thrown everywhere. This moment brought me to the conclusion that if the dev was going to spam enemies at me, then I'll do whatever I can do to spam back. And a few hundred free airstrikes was the solution for that. But even with airstrikes, I was on a set timer and simply just waiting for the level to end. It got to a point where I genuinely thought, what would happen if I didn't have these airstrikes? Would I actually have to use skill? Yes, but let's not talk about that. However, I will give credit where it's due. It is still kind of fun to play, but just a bit too much, I would say. But as if that wasn't enough, the game goes full gloves off in Mission 8, as not only was there a 6-minute long cutscene, but also a train section that broke my cookie clicker finger. The context here is that we and Rabbit Woman get captured by a ghoul asset man and then thrown in prison. But then, of course, someone comes to set us free. Do you know what this game is? This game is an example as to why you don't need AI voice. I already understand what's going on. I know what we need to do. This guy really just did what he could with whatever assets and whatever animations he had. What a hero. His friend Choki. They took him from him. No! Now that we're free, we must escape via a train, but the catch is that another train is chasing us, and if the pigs make contact, we take damage. The challenge to this is that there are also enemies running on the walls that make using a gun very difficult, because there are so many to shoot that the moment you reload, one gets to you anyway. It felt near impossible not to take damage without using something else other than a gun. So naturally, airstrikes became the answer to this problem, but I shit you not, I ran out of the first 300 and lost this level. This level was the reason why I clicked 5,003 times. But you want to know how many airstrikes I needed? 640. 640 airstrikes, that's all I needed. Smash like for my finger, he did it for you. Fun fact about that number, by the way, if you were to just go with the airstrikes, it would cost you about $250,000 without the exploit. But on the plus side, the dev did add some visual progress indicator, but man, it sucked. It really sucked. And with my clicking finger dead, let's move on to how my strafing fingers died. What do I gotta do, man? What is going on? Okay. Is that me? For me? Oh, no way. Yes, there are mech battles in this game, and by mech I mean a giant version of yourself with pigs attached and your arms in places they shouldn't be. This is Mission 4. Initially, it starts off with you and a few agents versus zombies and a big zombie that took a lot of bullets to kill. Now, the real fight, the alien mech battle, starts off with you just being your small self. At first, I wondered what the hell was going on. I genuinely thought they wanted me to fight this thing at this size. I mean, what are you supposed to do against something with helicopters for arms? But thankfully, it doesn't take too long for the big version of you to arrive, and piloting this thing is pretty simple. The wolf shoots rockets with LMB, and the deer is for punching. You can block with R and boost away with shift. It's no armored core, of course. It's very basic, but there's a problem. The alien mech gets sad every now and then, and I don't know what to do about it. Or should I say, the alien gets sad, and I thought that there was something special that I needed to do or trigger because the dev forgot to include a health bar for this boss. I'm dead. Death in this section basically means that your mech dies and you're back to your small self, and then you die again. And the issue with that is that if you do spend money and wake up, you obviously don't have a mech anymore, so it's pretty much just back to base camp. Although, with that being said, I have noticed during the editing process of this video that you can wait for a recall. But let's be honest, I obviously didn't see it, and I never lived that long anyway. Because there was no indication of progress, I had no idea what to do. If it was just to hit the thing enough times or to do something special. Turns out that after a few minutes, hitting it was the answer. I got it! I'm walking in the air, but I got it. Jesus Christ, that took ages. I feel like this far into the video, a lot of context about the lore and what's even going on has been missed. Although I do feel like I need to say, I don't even know what's going on, but I'll do my best to explain. As you already know, aliens dropped a meteorite on Earth. Said meteorite contained a material that caused a zombie takeover of America. The first half of the game is the UN, including yourself, basically taking on the aliens, and we beat them with the rocket launch. The second half is us trying to clear out the states full of zombies. RIP to the civilians, friends I shot along the way. During the clean out, this ghoul is now leading the zombies, I think. Or he was behind the breakout all along, I think. And after breaking out of prison, using a fraction of the US military spending budget, we now find ourselves in a last stand against the zombie menace and their pig catapults. The appropriately named Choki is still humping team members, and the best part about this mobile game looking ass level is how I died. I'm such an idiot. Here's a fun fact. When you have thousands of airstrikes still, you can just spawn stop the zombies and continue to launch strikes while a big version of the ghoul appears in a cutscene. Now, this is where things turn up to the maximum because we need to fight this guy, and after dying multiple times on my way to my larger self, the fight begins. This time it's interesting to see that the boss actually has a health bar, so now I can see my damage go through. As magical and as flashy as this boss may seem, thankfully it wasn't too difficult to defeat. The only complaint I have is that it's just not easy on the eyes. But you see, this boss was only the beginning of the end. And before you can actually get to the end, the dev decides to throw at you a 10-minute long cutscene that you can't skip, and is, to be honest, much faster to explain. But to save time, I will describe it for you. This act of heroism killed both of us, and now we're both in the afterlife and can't stop fighting each other while queuing in line to see who goes to heaven or hell. We have these little slap fights multiple times, and eventually when it's our turn, it is decided that the ghoul has to go to hell, and so do we. Of course, the ghoul had to make things worse and tries to go to heaven, but we don't allow that and fall into a void together. Then our friends, who RIP'd to save us, jump in as well. Then Choki appears with Spinny Car, sending more people to the second afterlife. They both work together to take on what I assume to be Robo Rudolph and of course win. Then Choki steals Rudolph's wallet and with a magical card obtained, he jumps into the void. We're only halfway through the cutscene, by the way. In the void, our team fights the ghastly ghoul, and we get kicked about for some reason too. Then the alien mech and the Kraken appears, and of course they fight us. Then they merge together into some kind of super mech. This is bad, and naturally a battleship and submarine come to help us fight. At this point in the script, I already sound like a stage 5 yapaholic kid explaining why they need more Robux, but trust me, it gets better. The card that Choki stole is then used to transform us into a super mech with girlfriends included, and finally, you can play the game again. Oh, fuck. Whoa, 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 whoa. What? Alright, I'm dead. Restart. Okay, this is a really weird boss. Oh, no, not again, man. Okay, thank God. Dev finally decided to chill for once. Like, you could tell that I was kind of done with it when I saw a bit of the cutscene again, but thankfully this time, the dev allows me to restart from the actual fight. Not base camp, the actual fight. No cutscenes included. Now, this fight is pretty nuts, but not impossible. The boss spams a near constant stream of abilities, and it can easily feel like you've got no window of attack. Each arm of yours can be used to either punch or can be switched to a firing mode. The left arm has this sort of homing missile with a lock-on system that, to be honest, didn't seem too useful, and the right arm just shoots rockets, I think. Because there's so much going on, you may not notice these little things flying around you. These are explosives. And to get rid of these explosives, you can press Control to launch duck decoys. Now, the fastest way to kill this boss is to get up close and personal. Learn how to dodge, learn when to punch. It's very possible, and I did beat this boss doing that. I did it! I actually did it with skill! Oh my god, man. Why did I just stray from the last time? I could have actually tried. I had to wait another 10 minutes just to fight this guy again, by the way. Every time you go back to play this level, you cannot skip that cutscene. Anyway, you see, the main reason why I had to put that brain rot warning in the first place was honestly because of this. Look at it. I mean, don't. It's not healthy. My first try killing this thing was just sat back for about 20 minutes, burning off my strafing finger, shooting at it constantly, and hoping to dear God I wouldn't sustain any permanent damage, just to give my brain a rest. But you see, look, that doesn't even matter, right? Because there is one thing I've said in this video, one thing that some people are still very curious to know about. Who are the multiple love interests? Well, your reward for beating this boss is that answer. What's happening? Are we all friends now? Oh my god. They made the most of these assets, didn't they? Yeah, everyone's having bananas now. Oh my... What the fuck, man? What? What happened? What happened in those years, man? No, what happened in those years, man? It's so weird. It's like... What do I even say about this, man? Yay, yeah, no idea, man, yeah. Interestingly enough, there is a bit more content to this game. 2 side missions to be exact. The first is all about a little boy who is chased by pigs into a spooky building, and you play as this boy walking around a dark building looking for little pigs while avoiding a big pig. The second side mission is more of a mini game where one of your agents gets brutally injured and you've got to take him back to base camp without getting chased down or without him falling out the back. It was pretty difficult, and to be brutally honest, I just couldn't be asked to beat either of them. The core content was much better, and at this point, I just needed to go outside. Go outside and think to myself, was it worth it? Wait, no, that's it. Is it that bad? I don't think we all truly realized the impact lockdown had. This was a product of a time where many of us had much more free time. I wouldn't say it's worth the $12.99 USD, but I also don't think they deserve to have the shit slapped out of them either. I could see good intent here. I could see someone messing around, trying to make a funny shitpost game, and in the process of that, made something okay. Okay combat, okay gameplay. I really like the special weapons and summons too. I just don't trust Choki. Nobody should. The cutscenes themselves may have been cursed, but they didn't use any cursed AI voice, and if you're a regular here, you already know what I mean. You just gotta make those cutscenes skippable. Like, I don't have 10 minutes to wait to play this boss again. I think it's very clear that they wanted to make a game, and you can see that in the first 2 levels. But then realize later that it requires a bit more effort to make things, I guess, interesting. But altogether, no, it's not that bad. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and thank you to all of those who support the wicked work behind these videos. It genuinely means a lot. And of course, to finish off, a shout out to my Wicked Slayers and Cyber Wizards. Gibbles by the Dozen, the Cuddly Bot, Negadan, the one with severed toes, Abby, the Meatly, Ali.Lair, Dorim, Trollfist, Spooky, King Delirious, Arcadius, Adam, Scotched Eggs, Big Ram, Grimber, Ninja Cat 8, Letteropener.mp3, Julie, Borky, Callum, Ambassador Ass, Dante's Face, The Smiley, Roland Deshane, and Skullduggery. I may not see you guys next week, but let me just say that something substantial is on its way.